Hey, Gavin Newsom, I thought California was doing well. What's this? How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the state of California facing a $68 billion budget deficit. Now, this is really interesting news. I remember just recently seeing Gavin Newsom debate Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, talking about California's doing so well. You guys in Florida are not doing well. We got the fifth largest economy in the world. We have all this money. Okay, you have all this money. You're doing so well. You're a giant economy. So how are you $68 billion in the hole? What's going on? What's happening in California? Now, could it have anything to do with the drugs that are going on that are just allowed to run rampant, the very high taxes, and you're running people away from the state? People are leaving. You're having more people that leave California than actually stay. And the people that leave are the ones who can't afford to leave. So you're losing your tax base, you're losing business, you're losing a lot of what makes California this powerhouse of an economy. The fifth largest, fourth largest, whatever. One of the biggest economies in the world in California is not so much anymore due to the policies of the state. And, you know, California is a beautiful place in some parts of the state. I mean, you got to get away from the cities. If you go to Los Angeles, forget about it. Like right there on the ground floor near the airport or downtown or really anywhere else, if you're not up in the hills or right there on the beach, it's super ghetto, looking like Mexico in some really slum area. It's just not a good place to be. San Francisco, beautiful location, historic city, the hills and everything, the painted ladies is nice. But you got all kind of drugs and guns and violence and just ghetto-ness happening all over these areas. It's like a cancer that spreads throughout the entire state. And you're wondering why you are $68 billion in the hole. It's not hard to tell. Now, before I go any further, let's check out a news clip. If you want to see the clip in full without my commentary, link, as always, will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio. Go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
How are things looking for next year's state budget?
Well, I think in a word, they look challenging.
That's the answer California Department of Finance Deputy Director H.G. Palmer gave amid the latest state data showing corporation and personal income tax revenue between spring and fall of this year came in some $25 billion less than anticipated.
Let's pause right there. So corporation and what did I hear? Corporation and personal income tax revenue down $25 billion from spring 23 to fall 23. So just in like this year, it's gone down that much. Like this is not even from year to date. This is just spring to fall. Okay. What, like 6 months or so? So here's my question. Will that same trend continue into the rest of this year, into 2024, 2025, 2026? When is that going to stop? Is it going to level off at a certain point, or is it just going to go down, 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 down? Because I don't see the policies of the state changing anytime soon. So how can this downward trend change anytime soon? It's a question. It's a good question, in my humble opinion.
Palmer says a major reason revenues are way off in large part has to do with a drop in the stock market in 2022. That led to a drop in income for California's top earners who are heavily invested in the stock market. As Palmer explains, a lower income for them meant less income tax revenue for the state.
Okay, so, I mean, is that same trend happening all over the country? Because I would presume it's not just high-earning Californians who are invested into the stock market. Okay, I would presume that. So what about other places? What about Florida? What about Tennessee? What about Georgia? What about even New York? Are those states facing the same problem, or is it just California? And the stock market is always up and down. So why is it all of a sudden this year we see such a big drop off? Because I thought California had a surplus in years past, in recent years past, but now you're facing a $68 billion budget deficit. So let's get down to other reasons why this may be happening.
This very narrow sliver of taxpayers gets a good chunk of their income from market-based sources, by which I'm talking about things like capital gains, stock options, bonuses that are tied to stock performance. So when the markets are doing very well, these folks do very well and the state revenues do very well in turn. On the flip side of that, when the markets aren't doing well, they don't do well, and the state's revenue doesn't do well.
That, he says, coupled with the tax deadline getting pushed back from mid-April to mid-November due to last winter's record storms, made it difficult to accurately project what tax revenues would actually look like. It all comes amid last week's report from the Independent Legislative Analyst's Office projecting California could face a $68 billion deficit next year. But even so, Palmer, who spoke to us on behalf of the Newsom administration, says the state is better prepared now than the last time it faced such a deficit during the 08-09 Great Recession. One of the main reasons, he says, this time the state has more than $20 billion in reserves.
That's an insurance policy that we have not had before.
I mean, I'm no mathematician, and I'm not an expert on state budgets or anything like that. So if whatever I'm going to say right now is incorrect, y'all please let me know in the comments. Please correct me. But if the projected budget shortfall is $68 billion and you have $20 billion in reserves, and I would presume the reserves are for emergencies, if you have storms, natural disasters, things of this nature, maybe I'm wrong. But regardless, even if you deplete it, you're still going to be $48 billion short. Am I getting that right? Again, if what I'm saying is wrong, y'all please correct me in the comments. I'd love to be corrected and set on the right track so I have understanding of what's happening here.
And that's going to make it easier, not completely free of difficult decisions, but it'll make it more manageable to navigate this budget shortfall that we're going to confront next year.
Still, Republicans say the necessary solution moving forward should focus on cuts to spending.
It should be alarming to everybody in the legislature, as well as the governor, that we need to seriously look at reductions in spending. Not a pleasant thing to do, but if we don't, it's going to be even worse.
And we should have a better idea how the governor plans to address this shortfall when he presents his preliminary budget next month.
So there we have it. That's what's happening out there in California. They have a $68 billion projected budget shortfall for next year, 2024. And they already know from this year, just from fall to spring of this year, 2023, there's a $25 billion, I guess you would say less than expected income tax and corporate tax revenue. 25 billion less than what is expected. And they're talking about, oh, well, there's all kind of reasons. You know, they delayed the tax deadline. The stock market is down. I mean, are you guys buying that? I'm not saying that it's not true at all. I'm not saying that can't be part of the equation, but what do you guys think is happening? As I close, I want to say this. California, it sucks. People are leaving in droves. They don't have any more U-Haul trucks. They're losing more than what they gain. And in theory, on paper, I suppose California should be a great place to be. Has great weather. Okay, no rain. Southern California is always sunny. It's beautiful. It's nice. But the policies make it a dump in the places where people live. When you're living in the bigger city areas, Los Angeles, San Francisco, etc., it's a dump. Okay, you got drugs everywhere. You got violence everywhere. The police defunded, and they can't really help you. You are in danger in a low-income area in Los Angeles and also in a high-income area. You got all kind of things going on, and Gavin Newsom just going out there trying to be this handsome guy, silver fox, whatever, just talking smooth and debonair, but this is all a smokescreen to hide the fact that his state is not doing as well as what it should be. It's not doing well at all. And the people of the state, if they haven't left, it's because they can't. Or maybe they live in a particular corner of the state that's not been affected by this ridiculousness that's happening in the major cities. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What do you think is causing the $25 billion, I guess you would say, shortfall in corporate and income tax revenue from spring 2023 to fall 2023? And what do you think is causing the projected $68 billion budget shortfall for next year, 2024? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. To me, it's pretty obvious. California sucks when it comes to policy, and people are leaving. And people that are leaving can afford to leave. They have the money. They have the income tax revenue. They have the businesses. Talking about Elon Musk trying to take Tesla from California to Texas. Did he already make that move? I'm not really sure. Joe Rogan, the biggest podcaster on planet Earth, leaving California, going to Texas. This is a thing that's happening in droves. And you may not see the big super name celebrities like an Elon or a Joe who are leaving. You may not see that every day, But you got a lot of businesses that have sizable populations, a lot of employees that make pretty big revenues into the tens of millions of dollars that are leaving the state and going elsewhere. The taxes are too oppressive. It's dangerous for their employees. Why should they stay there when they're not getting a good deal out of the situation, when it's not needed to be there? They can go to Texas or even another state that's near the left coast. They could go there and get a better deal. They can go to Arizona. They can go to Idaho. I'm not saying they should go there. Shout out to the Idaho residents and the Arizona citizens. I'm not talking about, California's trying to come to your place. But what I'm saying is they're leaving the state. More people are leaving California than are moving there. That, in my opinion, is the problem. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.